Can't.
It just wouldn't be fair. And here we are, and hello, everybody. It is Thursday. It's so funny because earlier today I did a live, and I literally thought it was Wednesday. I'm like, oh, it's Wednesday. And I'm like, no, it's not Wednesday. It is Thursday. So, for those of you who don't know this, Thursdays are ruled by Jupiter's energy, which is a great day for expansion. And as Kitty and I were just chatting about, the date today, when we add up today's date, we have the 2 from February, which is all about our partnerships. The day itself is the 16th, which is a 7 energy, which is all about taking time to quiet down and find the balance, find the harmony, find the stillness. So many of us are so caught up in complaining all the time that we literally lose track of the ability that we have to shift things, to bring ourselves back into balance, to bring ourselves back into that harmony. And then that 7 that we have with the 2 adds up to a 9. And then we have the 2023 energy, which is the collective universal year energy, which is at 7 again. So we have lots of 7s going on here, as Kitty and I were just talking. 777. So those of you out there who like to play Lotto, this is a good day to probably go do that. Just saying, even though I did not. But yeah, so it's a powerful day, and Kitty and I are here playing again as usual, because when the two of us are here together, it's all about play, but then we also want to share some major insight. So what we're going to do here, what I'm going to have Kitty do, I'm going to ask Kitty if she doesn't mind. Kitty, why don't you just introduce yourself, share a little bit about what it is we're going to be briefly talking about, while I check in to see that we are streaming where we need to.
What are we going to be briefly talking about?
Oh, we are going to talk about all the energies that's in Pisces.
Oh, that's right.
Between Saturn and Pisces. Oh my goodness gracious. Oh God.
It's this end of this astrological year. I remember celebrating the beginning of the astrological year is going to be, we're going to take her out in style.
Yes. Because we have, I think if I'm not mistaken too, we have, isn't Mercury going into Pisces? Yes, Mercury goes into Pisces when? The 20th, yes? February 20th?
Venus.
Well, no, not, I'm confusing it.
Venus goes into Aries.
On the 20th. When does Mercury go?
I am looking. I think it's next month. Where are you? There's Saturn.
I'm going to see if I can find it before you.
Mercury, the second.
The second. There we go. I knew it was coming close. So we're going to have Saturn enter Pisces on the 7th. Mercury enters Pisces on the 2nd. Yes?
Yes.
And then, of course, Venus is going to be leaving Pisces as of
starting the new moon.
Starting of the new moon, starting of the sun entering Pisces as well. So lots of Pisces, just like we were talking about lots of 7s. Wow. So go ahead. Do your thing as I'm going to
I'm pretty excited because, of course, I got to turn this down. I'm very excited, of course, because we are doing a building and it started today and it's been very delayed. So I'm very happy with this 7. That's why I sat down and compulsively found out what the number was for the day. And I recorded it on my calendar. It's a time to celebrate the magic of the sun. We're finishing this cycle. So we're finishing the cycle that went from healing into intuition, and with the calendar year. But this is going to be now properly starting next month, a brand new astrological year. So this last month of this one, which has all been about healing, all about that transition in following our intuition, our year of clarity. My dog's jingling his collar for you.
I was going to say, sounds like we got some bells ringing.
Yeah, we do. And And so it's very interesting, this energy that it's also about the fact that we're sitting at these outer planets, 29th and 0 degrees, these anaretic degrees. And so we're doing a lot of the energy, the entire energy, its entirety of Pisces and Aquarius as we do these transitions, and which is not only the expanded, but it's also the shadow side of some of that because it's all of the energy, and then it moves to a karmic reset. And so very excitedly, as we look at this Pisces energy, Pisces is sacral chakra. Pisces is your hands and your feet. Pisces is where pleasure is established, pleasure and abundance, because it is the dreaming. And anything, there's a movie I just sent Joanne called The Time of the Sixth Sun, and we've moved into this age where the sun has moved from an electric sun to a magnetic sun. That started in 2012, but we are 11 years after the start, so we're in the vision of what that is. It's because we've made that first trek around a 5,200-year cycle. And so we are really working on the magnetism, which is our law of attraction. And what is the flow in Pisces? Are you of the dream or are you the dreamer? And everything we had at one time was a dream. If we could pull in somebody from 100 years ago and tell them that I'm talking to New York and Florida, they'd be like, what?
Exactly.
That you could see it and that you could fly, in a couple hours, or that all over the world. And just so this is this imaginative time to dream. Hands or feet are the rulers, and as a teacher, people used to say, what's your advice for teachers? I'm like, take care of your feet, because that's what makes you travel. That's what arrives. That's how you flow.
Yeah.
Our spices for Pisces are like lemon balm and gentle foods. Pisces wants the gentle flow. That's kind of the focus of it, not spices. The scents are things like clearing scents, rose and sage, and bergamot, which is about emotional safety, because of course we're talking about the last of the zodiac, and what do we take it out with? Water, emotion. We
Yes.
start with fire and we end with, so we start with a male and we end with a female sign. This is about receiving. This is the crystal of the aquamarine, where you look in the aquamarine, you see the colors. It's the moonstone, because it's creativity. Because that's what Pisces is about, is that imagination, that creativity energy. Water, female, mutable. It finishes stuff up.
I love it. I love it. Now, I just have a question not relating to what you just said, relating to Facebook. Did they change it up again? Because we can't share it. I have it live, but we can't share it. There's no share button.
Not that I know of.
Yeah, I cannot share this right now. I don't know why I can't share this. This is weird.
Sometimes, just so you know, because you're on StreamYard, you have to go reauthorized. You might have to go sign in on your StreamYard account and see if you have to reauthorize to be able to broadcast.
Oh yeah, I do that. I do that often. But it's on Facebook. But what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to invite people to come join us.
Oh,
so they can comment, and that we can't do right now.
Huh. Well, I do know it was having some issues earlier, playing some videos and stuff. So they might be having some technical difficulties.
Oh, okay, yeah, because that's the reason why. Anyway, just to let people know that yes, we are streaming on Facebook. We're streaming on YouTube, and we're also streaming on Twitter right now. So, yeah, we're all over. We're everywhere. We're everywhere and anywhere we could possibly be to share this out. And of course, there'll be a link that we will be able to share, the YouTube channel on too. So this amazing Pisces energy. And Kitty, why am I so excited about Pisces energy?
Because you have the only birthday that actually has a command in it in Pisces, March 4th.
Exactly.
And and of course, it's a very spiritual message. And Neptune, therefore, is the ruler of your sun too. because Neptune rules Pisces. And of course, Neptune is spirit. Neptune is the deep waves, the king, the trident. And Neptune's energy is also 12th house energy, which is the house of the secrets. Things are uncovered, how we remember ourselves from the depth, and all of those wonderful things. So, you know, it's very, very, very interesting. It completes energies, this Pisces energies of the cycle. And that's what it does. It takes your imagination and takes them forward to create. It completes things.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, considering we have, and let's do this in the order.
Oh, by the way, Pisces supposedly is the rarest sign of the zodiac. Yeah, well, it kind of makes sense because the calendar stops at 28. So you're at least missing 2 or 3 days physically.
Yes.
And so there are less people born on Pisces, but it also has a little bit less statistically and normally. So I guess we probably partially need to go 10 months ahead and see what month that happens to be.
Now, wouldn't that hold true for February as well? Because February has 28 days.
Well, that's why, because Pisces starts in February, and because it's the end of it. Yes.
Got it. All right. So it doesn't have anything to do with the actual February, March thing. Has more to do with the actual
February.
Aquarius, Pisces thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, because Aquarius gets a full month.
Yes.
Pisces doesn't, because of the shortness of being at the end of February.
Yeah. So we lose 3 days.
We lose 3 days.
Sometimes.
Yes.
Or when we have our leap year, we lose 2 days.
Two days. But exactly. so it's, you can understand it from that, but it actually statistically is a little bit less. It's not directly proportional. So that's kind of interesting. But again, let's look at, so we're talking about April. Maybe people are planting flowers. So, you know.
Yes. But if you think about it, in reference to what you're saying about there's not that many people that are born in Pisces energy, that makes a lot of sense, because at least from my point of view anyway, Pisces carries a lot of responsibility. And what I mean by that is because we are the ascended master, we are here to hold space, hold light, even sacrifice our own self to help others get to where they need to go. So it would make so much sense to why.
Well, and it carries the lessons of all, and it's the emotions of those lessons, and that's what's uniquely human.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. Now I'm curious to know, because my analytical brain from Aquarius is striking an internal conversation to want to know exactly how many people out there are Pisces. Now I have to need to know this, and how am I going to find that out?
I don't know. Right now, you can't invite any other Pisces on either.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
well, I mean, like general, like the whole world. Like, how many Pisces people are out there, really? You know.
Well, and you know, it's really, I think, understanding that it kind of, because if even the moon and the rising sign, again, less statistically normal, and it has it's built in with a sense of endings, because it is an end. You know, it is the 12th house.
Yes.
And it is also the number, when you're looking at degrees, that you subtract to figure out what the undercurrent is. So it's a number that appears often, that synthesis. Doesn't that make sense? And it's a galactic number because it comes down to 3, and 3, 6, and 9 are all those galactic numbers.
Yes. So now that we know all that, and in addition to our, with our sun going into Pisces, as we mentioned earlier, we have Mercury that's going into Pisces. So, Kitty, let's talk a little bit of juicy stuff about what it is, what it's going to feel like, what it's going to be like, what are we supposed to be learning through this Mercury Pisces energy. Let's go there.
Well, communication. Pisces has an emotional intelligence that is deep, and it's not that it's not intelligent, but it has an emotional intelligence, highly intuitive. And so when Mercury's in there, Mercury being kind of this ability to reserve, that kind of Gemini experience, you're going to be experiencing that emotional intelligence and being able to communicate or feeling that there's more information coming. And I think what's really important is to get yourself, because it is a water sign, it is female, in a receiving mode for that information. That's a really kind of important thing to be taken care of. And that means quiet time. There is a quietness, and especially as Venus moves into Aries, where she's going to be kind of out there, very much about passion and abundance and creativity. So this kind of period where both Mercury and Venus are sitting in Pisces is a really communicative thing about values and putting our efforts forth on that, ready to take some big steps. And we keep talking about March. We're going to have a whole thing on the beginning of March, you and I, just to have people. I just think that there's so many things that have been pointing to this, and it's just a beginning, but some big energies. So
Yes, yes. Well, as we speak of big energies, and you just spoke about Mercury and Pisces, the next big one that's coming in several days after Mercury transits into Pisces, we have Saturn that transits into Pisces. Now that is big. Let's talk about that Saturn energy and what we're all going to experience with that.
Well, Saturn is the planet of boundaries and constrictions and structures. It rules Capricorn. Our governments, our bigger structures, our topographical map, our bigger cities, our bigger earth things. So there is something when Saturn moves into a sign that becomes constricted, becomes focused, and Pisces is flow. So there's a focused flow. Often, now the denser expression of Pisces is suffering, is addiction. So for folks who aren't really, that's what they pick up on, you might see some uptick or slippage, or there may be some big things that are revealed with governments that, because they're not flowing. So what is the restriction that's going to step forward for us? And of course, it's in some bigger structure. And just to kind of illustrate that, in March of 2020, Saturn dipped its toe into Aquarius, where it is now. And it dipped back out just like it will again. But it did this on the 22nd of March.
Yes, right when everything did what it did. Woohoo!
Yeah, and everything so it restricted the vision of our structures, of what we could do in them, and what did that mean. Ultimately, it brought quite an awakening. It stopped people long enough to say, what is this life about? And interesting that it was March 22nd, because March 22nd is something called Heaven's Cross. This, which is it's a non-astrological event, though I would argue that nothing is a non-astrological.
I was about to say the same thing. I was like, wait a minute, everything is astrological in my point of view, but okay.
Yeah, so it was, it's very, it's interesting to hear we hit 3 years later synthesis of that lesson, and it ticks into this next energy. And so what will that mean? What boundaries, what structures, what of this Pisces energy? Pisces as an opportunity for deep compassion and connect with the unseen world. So there's a lot of people and buzz around, and look at what's happening. How many UFOs are showing up all of a sudden? And people are like, oh, you mean the balloons? I'm like, no, the one over North Carolina was a balloon. The other ones were at 20,000 feet and 60,000 feet. Balloons don't go to 20,000 feet.
Well, I think they just say that for themselves, so it makes sense in their head, as opposed to saying, really?
And then, of course, I heard all these conspiracy theories, all these different conspiracy theories. So, so we're going to have to see kind of what it means. But there is a big idea that we're talking about, this Heaven's Cross, which is the idea that there's some veil that moves, and physically we can really be much more in touch with And then there's also an idea that there are much more galactic who are stepping in now, you know, because there's enough. So that the thought behind this Heaven's Cross is there's enough awakened people that an energetic door opens.
It's so funny you say that, because I was literally going to say, when you were done saying what you were saying, I was literally going to say, intuitively, I feel that with Saturn transiting into Pisces, that we are going to see a huge increase of people literally becoming more in tune, psychic, fully more aware of their abilities. And there you go, saying what you were about to say.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
Yeah,
no, I think it is. It's a focused ability. Something is restricted so that we focus our ability. So it's nothing to be necessarily frightened of, but and again, really understanding, and I still sometimes battle with my own thoughts that we see and we create what we see and we magnify it. Um, you know,
now
and
you can come into my little mind, my mind, and take what I see, and if you want to help me magnifying that, that would be great, because I have a interesting imagination.
well, it's that, you know, that idea, you and I were talking about it, where when I put something out to the universe and then I keep looking at it, Abraham Hicks was just talking about this, and that was a big aha for me, was if I keep putting it out to the universe, then I'm looking at what I think I don't have versus I put it out. Now I start to look and see how it's being answered.
Exactly, exactly. And it's interesting because a lot more people, at least in my awareness anyway, there are a lot more people speaking like that, where it's like the concept of how we know manifestation to be, where it's like, okay, we sit, especially during new moon time, we sit, we set our intention, we do the visual meditation, we write down our intentions, what we saw in our meditation, and and that's what we do. But now it's a matter of, for that to become the reality, as you as Kitty's saying, you only really have to write it once, read it out loud, so the universe, you're voicing it, so it has more power. And then the part of the manifestation that many were not doing before, that we're learning to do now, is being in that space of acting it out as though you already have the thing you're looking to manifest. So rather than looking for it and thinking it's not here yet, take 5 minutes, 10 minutes of your day and play it out as though it is. And before you know it, it will be.
Well, and it's interesting because this Pisces energy gives us feelings become superpowers, and all of the collective information of this last trans through all of these cycles. So they become our superpowers. And so we have an opportunity not to fight with them, but to say, like, if I was driving from Tampa, if anybody's driven in Tampa, they know exactly what I'm talking about, over to the Palm Bay. And it's not that I don't get angry, but I interact with it. That's my superpower now. I'm going to interact with this. I'm feeling this, wanting to call names, and I tend to try to say, "Bless you, change me." But that doesn't mean the feeling's not there. But the superpower of that now is to look at that and say, "All right, this isn't necessarily how I want to travel. So let me try and work with it differently." In the past, I would have tried to fight it and say, "Don't have it," and reprogram. But now it's like, okay, I'm going to feel where that feeling is. I'm not going to make it a pattern. It's like, okay, so let me talk to that area while I'm driving instead. The area that goes like this. Like, and I like flow. I actually I have Chiron in Pisces.
Oh,
Yeah. Actually, I take it back. Chiron's in Aries. Pisces is on my house of communication and a little bit my second house. So Chiron affects it.
yes.
Aquarius. I'm sorry, it's an Aquarius.
I
So
was gonna say, I didn't think you were Aries, but I wasn't gonna say.
no, Aquarius.
Yes.
But it's in the same. There that mixture in that second house of values and wanting to be valued. And I really like flow. I want to communicate with flow. I want to, and so it shows up in my driving. I don't like driving like this. I would much rather drive through the countryside for hours and keep moving than to, and God, I bless truck drivers, but I don't want to be behind you. So, and so, it's one of those. So that's kind of my superpower, um, and it's all right to accept it and have affection for it. And it's not a have to change it. It's, is it there is suffering connected to it? That's why it becomes your superpower. What's the suffering when these energies show up? And of course, shadow is escapist, lack of boundaries, living in a fantasy world. But yet, I want to live in but if I call it fantasy, it was interesting. I watched a gentleman, somebody had sent me, and he was channeling. And this gentleman was trying to say something, and he kept saying, "That's how you see it. That's how you see it." Well, I have to have a reality check. No, it's your reality, and it's like, oh,
Yeah. Well, I think that goes back to what we were saying before.
Mm-hmm.
We see it the way we see it because that's how we're focused on seeing it.
Yeah.
So
right.
if we change our focus, perhaps what we're focused on, we won't see it that way anymore because we changed the focus.
Right. Because we changed the focus, and we can. It's not a denial, because of course, if you deny it, you give it power.
Yes, exactly.
This Pisces asks us to hold space
Exactly.
for all possibilities.
Exactly. I'm actually going to share something with you that I heard today, and it may or may not be relevant to the topic that we're talking about, but I think it is. Because again, when we think about the Pisces energy and the ability of our structure, and even the Mercury's energy in Pisces, this woman, what was I watching? I think on TikTok. I tried to find her name, but I didn't see her name anywhere to actually give her credit here. But she was speaking about, at least I think she was speaking about, because she didn't really say it, but she was speaking about money and the views on it. This is how she views it. We don't save, we invest. So you have people out there who focus on they have to save money, they have to save money, they have to save money. And this flows into the concept of the law of money, on how money continues to flow based on how we express it, how we speak about it, how we connect with money. So this is just a different way of focusing on money, changing the focus. So rather than focusing on
Tabra's
saving,
agreeing with you.
exactly. It's about we invest money. Rather than focusing on I have to budget myself, let's have a forecast. So rather than budgeting, let's forecast where we would like our money to go. And then the next one, which is really one of my favorites, rather than focusing on retiring, focus on freedom. And I just thought from her conversation she was having, I was like, oh, I like this woman because she speaks my language. Because I mean, I know for me, I'm always talking when people ask me, well, how do you see your life after you retire? And they never like my answer. My answer is, well, by that point, I'll be dead. And they're like, huh? I'm like, well, if I'm retired, it means I'm done. I have no pulse anymore. I get to go home. And they're like, what? I'm like, my point is I'm not retiring. I don't believe in it. I believe that I'm here for a purpose and I have a reason to be here. So changing that dialogue from needing to retire. Plus, I do believe, too, that anyone that wishes to retire, question that they might want to ask themselves is, well, what are you retiring from? And maybe it's time to step into your purpose if you've been spending all your time doing as Kitty, and I'm gonna steal Kitty's expression. If you're spending all your time in the job, now it's time to maybe step into your soul's purpose. So you
To your
won't
work. Yeah. into what your work is. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's your actual WORK.
Yeah.
Is what we were called to do, and that's why that's the freedom place, because we move into freedom. And I say this, I've said this a lot. Oh my God, probably 3 years ago to many people in regards to those who aren't trusting their soul's purpose. They question it, constantly questioning, well, how am I supposed to make a living and survive by doing my soul's purpose? And I'm like, well, God would not have given you your soul's purpose for you to live in poverty. He gave you your soul's purpose so you can live in prosperity. And that's at least my point of view about it, is that we're supposed to be in prosperity when we are actually in alignment to our purpose. And that gives us the freedom. So I just wanted to share that based on this amazing Pisces energy that we're moving into. Maybe it's just my, dreamy little land that I live in, but you know what? If I'm the only one on that land, I'm very happy.
I like that very, very, very much.
But Kitty, you can come on my land with me.
Thank you.
I believe you have the same language I have. So anybody that speaks my language and is open to possibilities, that there's something more than what we're seeing, what we're focused on, you can come live with me on my little world.
Well, and 2023 for Pisceans is a year to look forward to. It's a very prosperous year. But it's very important if you're Pisces, wherever Pisces is in your chart. So this is an interesting thing to say. Wherever it is in your chart, so where I'm talking second and third house, that's a place where I need more sleep, more taking long walks. So for me, sleep so I don't get mumbled in my words, take the walk so I can be quiet, take baths, things that take me into understanding my values and be able to communicate them.
Yes, yes.
That's my second and third house energy. And for other people,
you know what I'm pulling out, right?
Your chart, I hope. And of course, looking at your sun, because you're a Pisces sun anyway.
Yes.
So what house is this? What house is this abundance coming forth in? Houses,
Well, it's actually one. I have my sun in my 9th house. I have Venus in my 9th house, and I have my true node in my 9th house.
So you have this Piscean energy of abundance in learning, but you need to take the quiet time, the baths, the sleep, the rest, all of those things in proportional balance so you can have the conversations in higher learning. And that's what's kind of interesting. So if I don't spend the time learning about the communication and looking at what I value to communicate about and paying attention to, for me, these feelings that come up, because some of them I don't really, they're old. It's time I can thank them for what they've done for me, and we can find a different pattern to explore. And so it's okay. So I think it's funny that it's this dog, because this dog, years ago when I got it, I said, I was meditating. I said, so what is this dog? And I got Christ consciousness. And of course, Pisces is the Christ consciousness. So that's the sign of, and so I think it's funny. This dog's over here barking.
Yes, exactly.
Needing
to say.
Come here. Would you like to go on camera? Would you?
All right. Come say hi to the world.
Come say hi.
Oh, hello.
This is TAVR, and TAVR stands for Trans-Aortic Valve Replacement. She was named after a heart procedure. And she makes this noise. This is her noise. She is a chug. She is from Puerto Rico. She is a rescue from Puerto Rico. And she is a trifecta. She snorts, she sheds, and she licks. And we love her. But
how cute.
She's awful to meditate around because she stands there and makes that high-pitched bark. Just say hi to. Say hi.
We would just learn how to utilize that high-pitched bark, that sound in the meditation to enhance the meditation. Is what I would do.
For me, what it does is, and what's funny is she's very good at waiting until, okay, she's not going to bark again. And
then all of a sudden, yes,
yeah.
yes. So interesting story, which is actually a fact, not such a story. I'm actually working on, and I started it last night. That is related to all of the Chiron's energy, all the signs in Chiron, and I'm going to connect it to self-care.
Oh, that would be lovely.
Yes. I don't know if you've seen it on Facebook yet. I posted it everywhere, so hopefully you did. I am now an executive contributor to Fox Daily. Oh, I forget the end. But anyway, my first article will be up. I believe it's going to be March 1st or March 3rd, somewhere between there. And that's what I'm going to focus on is self-care and Chiron's energies.
Oh, well, when you do that, I want you to come on and do a thing with certainly an optimized, but also an intuition of the soul, because Chiron is such an amazing, it's asteroid. I mean, when I did my first charts years ago, they didn't do Chiron.
Yes,
They
I
hadn't
know.
really discovered it until I think it was 79 or something like that.
Yes, and Chiron right now must be getting a lot of attention because, based on the research that I'm doing, there are a lot of astrologers out there right now talking about Chiron. It's like, wow.
Well, and it's in Aries.
Yes.
So this will be one of the full cycles because once we've become really aware of it and incorporating it, and this is and if this doesn't describe what I hear people say about the earth is, it's about the wound of authentic self, and that people have tough exteriors and they yell and they scream and they get really grumpy because they're afraid to be that authentic self, and their healing comes, which is what Chiron is all about. You never heal it, but it becomes a tool, is when they can help other people accept who they are. And then they learn to accept themselves, their authentic self. And they learn it by being their authentic self and helping other people be their authentic self. So, that's where Chiron is right now.
Exactly. And being that the sun's going into Pisces, I think it's really a perfect time for me to write that article to help others out there to realize that, hey, you can work on healing your Chiron wound. You're not going to heal it completely, but you can work on it by applying some self-care tools. Mm-hmm. And each one is going to have a different self-care toolbox to work with.
Oh, I like that very, very much. So
yes. So that's the weekend.
having the wound in Aquarius, and of course, Aquarius is the sign of circulation and the root chakra. Just like Pisces is the hands and the feet and the sacral chakra. So I'm sure that it'll all be related to those different areas that carry the wound.
Yes, exactly.
So, well, It's 9:07. I think we should pull some cards.
Yes, because we get so carried away when we're together.
Yes, I think I'm going to use the Magic of You Oracle today. I use Joanne's deck all the time, but when she's pulling her own cards, I do a different. Sometimes we do the same cards.
Yes.
I like her deck.
I like my deck too. Thank you.
But I also think magic is a good thing to be looking at right now because we're talking about dreaming and imagination and the magic.
Yes, and if we want to activate our superpower, magic would be a great way to do that.
And it is our superpower, our emotional superpower, because we've been dealing with the vision, and that brings up, again, it's the end of all of it. What did we start? What did we, and what is this vision of what we're thinking as we move into this age of Aquarius?
Yes. You want to pull your card first?
Well, this is the one that came right up. Number 10. I have to put my glasses on. Become a loving mirror.
And
that goes to what we were speaking about. What you see and what you magnify is what gets magnified.
Exactly. What you
If
focus
you
on
see,
is what's going to happen.
you know, and it's, I had my own challenge this week because I am a Michigan State alumni, and I knew exactly where Berkey Hall was and right where the student union was, and I was an RA actually in the dorm complex that's right there, and what it happened on Valentine's Day, and what I went to was, well, let me think about that part of my life. Where would I have said love was, because it happened to be Valentine's Day, and that was what I tried to magnify, the gratitude for the other pieces of it. I'm going to pull one more.
Yes.
Oh, serendipity. Merge. Oh, put your glasses on, Catherine. Merge with the flow. Is there a more Pisces serendipity? And it's
Exactly.
a 3.
See, it's everything's in line, and so is my card. Are you ready for mine?
Yeah.
7, because we were just talking about 7. Career change. Career change. And in fact, I actually just finished writing an article on the Saturn Pisces energy. And what we're going to experience, we're going to witness many, many people going through career changes. That's going to be the highlight for the remaining portion of 2023.
Right. And that was actually a big conversation. I never watched the news or morning shows and whatever. It was interesting because CBS Good Morning was having trouble with their studio. So they were actually in CBS Sunday morning studio. And so, and they did a big thing about artificial intelligence and what was that going to mean for different kinds of career. It may limit at first, but there will be expansion. It was very interesting to watch,
Yes. And the shocker here, if we haven't said it enough tonight, here's a little reminder again. The chakra is the third eye, which is the visionary. What are you focused on? What is it you want to create? Reminding yourself, if you didn't hear us say it enough tonight, you are the creator. Where your thoughts are, it's what's going to be in your reality. If there's something in your reality that you don't like or you feel you've outgrown, then it's your responsibility. It's your job to redirect your focus and create something else, because you have the superpower to do just that.
And my final card for the night, actually 2 came out. One is everything in perfect balance, and it came out with whatever you choose will be correct.
Ooh, I like that.
Mm-hmm. And look at the images together.
The key. Oh, that is gorgeous.
Yeah.
Yes.
The key, and if you look at this, everything is in balance. She's got water, air, earth. It's a beautiful picture as she looks up where the key is. So
beautiful.
And what's interesting is that this key is actually the back of all of these cards anyway.
And interesting card to show up now. With everything we're speaking of, focus, our superpowers, the energy of the major shifts that are coming in with people's careers, we always have to remind ourselves of this one. Patience. We must be patient. Because even though, yes, Kitty and I have been speaking on redirect your focus, bring that into your reality, it may not come into your reality as quickly as you want it to come into your reality, but you cannot fall back into, well, when's it going to show up? Because the minute you do that, you're focused on not having it, which means you're no longer in that space of creating it. So patience is extremely important.
And especially with yourself.
Yes. If anything, with yourself. Mm-hmm. The more you're patient with yourself, the more you'll be able to expand that patience out to others. The heart chakra, where there's going to be massive changes going on as Saturn moves into Pisces, and then once Pluto moves into Aquarius, we're going to experience some massive change. Not everybody is going to be happy, at least in the beginning, with the massive changes. There's going to be a lot of overwhelmness. There might be a lot of grief, is what I just heard, especially for those who are in the process of career change. So, as Kitty and I have been saying from the beginning, during Pisces season, it's really important to balance your time with rest, relaxation, take the baths, go for the walk, quiet yourself down so you can allow your heart to feel more peace and calmness and not the overwhelm.
Right. Be in touch with that emotional intelligence.
Exactly. And then we have the 4, which is all about, again, we come back into the foundation, the balance, the stability. Your home, when we speak of home, we can speak of our shelter, of course, we can speak of our workplace, but we also speak about our body. Coming into that mind, body, and spiritual connection. And in astrology, the 4 is associated with Cancer.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the connection, the ruling sign of the moon, that new moon we have coming in this weekend. So this is a really great time to utilize your superpowers, focusing on patience, and bring that balance into your mind, body, and spirit. So if you're doing a lot of working, balance it out with some rest.
Yeah.
You know, as the dog agrees.
As the dog, yes, she comes out to say, yes, I agree. I'm the Pisces dog. I agree.
Yes.
You know, because it nice. Taver, go lay down, honey. So my husband just said the magic word out. So I don't want to say it out loud in case somebody has a dog by, because then they have a new issue they have to do. But it's important that we take that rest and that patience. You know, one of the things, it's interesting how when you think back at things in your life, again, you put it out to the universe. Now look at ways it's probably already been answered. And one of the things, you know, I say I'm impatient, but yet when I was a teacher, I had a gentleman come and he talked about in his village in Africa, when they mashed the turnip, they sang a song, and he only sang it once. But I remembered the song in every class I had. I would teach them this little song, and it's just "Mashe kan chu chu chua," and they would sing it to remind themselves to be patient. And sometimes when we were transitioning, I would start to sing it with the kids, and they knew we were just saying patience. Like if I was getting something out or something wasn't working, especially technology, which, you know, kids don't sit very well for a while if it doesn't come on or boot right or whatever, or you have to switch modes. And it, over the years, it was probably one of my favorite tools that I just stumbled upon, because it gave us a way to be patient. And that's what taking a bath, that's what putting a song on, that's what, you know, working on a book is all about too. So
Exactly. So all that being said, Kitty and I have so much fun together, and we will be back again very soon because we have so much to share when
we have a lot.
March rolls in, which is not too far away.
This is a very interesting year. Beware of the Ides of March.
Yes. So much to come in. And what is this? Is this the 3rd or the 4th year anniversary of the pandemic?
2020. So we're in the 3rd year.
3rd year. Yes. So yeah,
we're coming up on the end of. So we had 20, 21, 20. Yeah. So we're coming into the 4th, finishing the 3rd, going into the 4th.
Yeah. Yes. And yeah, so that just brings us right back to balance and reflecting on what the last 3 years were really about, and how the last 3 years, I truly believe, is actually helping us to get to where we have to go with all this amazing superpower, intuitive, psychic abilities, the higher calling, the ascendant masters that we all can be. So beautiful time. Kitty, if you would like to let everybody know how they can reach you and all the amazing things that you do.
You can reach me at Intuition of the Soul 11@gmail.com. Private Facebook group, Intuition of the Soul, free to join, have all kinds of programs starting to line them up for this year of clarity. Kind of decided to hold off till we get through March, just because March is a big deal. I offer a course called Optimize. Right now, we just started a class, but I'll be starting one in another 2 months again, where we just take your chart and you learn how to look at the energies of your chart and use them personally, how to be a hero of your own story, because your chart gives you a story. So
Yes. And you gave your email address, yes?
yeah, and you've got it scrolling across the bottom.
Yes.
After Joanne's, then you'll see mine right behind it. So
there you go. And for those of you who, for whatever the reasons are, don't know who I am, that's a rarity, but you can catch me on Facebook as usual, on my YouTube channel. And for those who are interested, you can also catch me the first and third Sunday of the month for my TV show, Joanne's Healing Within. I have amazing guests that come on. Kitty's been a guest on mine a few times. She'll be back.
And she'll be back on Intuition of the Soul, especially if she does this Chiron thing. Man, she's coming back in week. That's a wonderful thing. If there's an action when you feel it activated, so you can learn to use it as a tool. I love that idea.
Yes.
Anything we can do to use as a tool brings us more information. So
exactly. And to just look for my newest article that's going to be featured it's called Fox Daily Post. I'll be posting it up once it's there. And then many other places you can find me. If you have any questions for me, if there's anything you want to do with me, work with me, my email's strolling on the bottom, healingwithin76@gmail.com. And until next time, Kitty and I come together to play, you'll all know about it. Have a great night.
Great night. Happy Pisces.
Yes, happy Pisces, everyone.